Your Excellency, the wife of the Vice President, Federal Republic of Nigeria, Your Excellencies, State Governors and their wives, Honorable Ministers and their wives, heads of government agencies and other senior government officials and their wives, members of the Diplomatic Corps, development partners of Future Assured, other development stakeholders, members of the press, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Today, Future Assured program is 6 years old. Her Excellency, the First Lady, who is the founder, chairperson, driver, and benefactor of Future Assured, has convened this meeting to share her experiences with partners, stakeholders, and the world. First of all, we will have a word of welcome from the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Administration and Women Affairs in the Office of the First Lady of Nigeria. She is Dr. Rukaya Gurin. Please welcome to the podium to deliver a welcome address.
Your Excellency, the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Professor Yemi Osibajo and his wife, Your Excellency, the wife of the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Dr. Mrs. Aisha Buhari, Your Excellencies, Governors of states present and your wives, honorable ministers here present and your wives, members of Diplomatic Corps, our development partners, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is my pleasure and honor to welcome you all to this great event that is organized for the celebration of Future Assured anniversary. Future Assured is a component of Aisha Buhari Foundation that was established 6 years ago and championed by our mother, the First Lady of the nation, the wife of the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Dr. Mrs. Aisha Muhammadu Buhari, with the aim of improving the lives and assuring women, youth, and children of brighter future. Since its establishment 6 years ago, Future Assured has touched the lives of many, especially as relates to education, healthcare, and empowerment of youth and girl child. Today we are here to celebrate Her Excellency's diligence, stewardship, and achievements. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, Future Assured of Aisha Buhari Foundation is real and inspiring. And I call upon all of you to support us in celebrating this great day. Once again, I welcome you all most sincerely, and on behalf of Her Excellency, Dr. Mrs. Aisha Buhari and Future Assured, I thank you for honoring this invitation. Thank you so much, and God bless.
Thank you very much. That was Dr. Rukaya Gurin, Senior Special Assistant to the President in the Office of the First Lady. We will take two goodwill messages. The first one from the Honorable Minister of Health, who has been a partner of Future Assured from his days as Honorable Minister of State for Health. He's still with Future Assured. I would like to get some kind words from him at this occasion. You're welcome, sir.
Your Excellency, the First Lady and wife of the President of the Republic, Dr. Mrs. Aisha Buhari, the wife of the Vice President of the Republic, executive governors here present and their spouses, honorable ministers and spouses, members of the diplomatic corps, development partners, ladies and gentlemen. I am delighted and privileged to be invited to join in celebrating the 6th anniversary of the founding of Future Assured, the program of Her Excellency Dr. Mrs. Aisha Buhari, and one of the arms of the Aisha Buhari Foundation. I especially congratulate the founder on this day for the achievements so far in the life of the foundation. I have no doubt that hundreds of thousands of women, children, and adolescents, especially the rural poor and the vulnerable, have in one way or the other benefited from the program, and that their lives have been touched or even transformed. The strong advocacy for health, well-being, and education of women, adolescents, and children, in particular for the girl child, has been consistent, as it has been also for their economic empowerment. I know this because I have been an eyewitness and participant in several acts of the program. Beyond that experience, the Federal Ministry of Health, on its part, has in the last 6 years been engaged in partnership with the Aisha Buhari Foundation in several fronts and has collaborated with the Future Assured program in the area of reproductive, maternal, newborn, child and adolescent health, and nutrition. In that regard, we have enjoyed tremendous support from Her Excellency, the First Lady, and from the foundation team to drive health sector initiatives. Worthy of mention, for example, is the launch of the National Zero Water Campaign in August 2019, an advocacy and social mobilization program with the general objective of increasing the proportion of infants who are put to the mother's breast milk within an hour of birth, raising the proportion of infants exclusively breastfed for 6 months after their birth, and creating an enabling and supportive environment for the promotion of exclusive breastfeeding. The Future Assured initiative also worked with the Ministry of Health to mobilize media participation in reproductive, maternal, newborn child health advocacy, as evident at the launch of the Stakeholder Partnership Coordinating Platform for Reproductive, Maternal, Newborn and Child and Adolescent Health and Nutrition which included the engagement with media executives. I also recall with pleasure the meeting with nutrition stakeholders to chart a way forward and to encourage domestic production of ready-to-use therapeutic food, a major commodity for the treatment of severe acute malnutrition, which was organized by Her Excellency through the Future Assured initiative. My experience with the Aisha Buhari Foundation does not end with gender issues alone. I had the opportunity to see the First Lady at work at the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic in Nigeria, when the Ministry of Health was in a dilemma as to how to prepare enough treatment centers for the masses of sick people that had been predicted at that time for Nigeria. First Lady was one of the first persons to give us great relief when she commissioned the repurposing of a large hotel into an emergency hospital within a few weeks under her own personal guidance. I inspected that facility many times and marveled at the passion and pace of work. As it turned out, Nigeria was fortunate not to need all the admission facilities that had been made available. As I commend Her Excellency for all the great contributions to national development and gender parity, I dare say, Madam, that your initiatives have made a great difference in the lives of women and children. The Federal Ministry of Health will gladly continue to support and work with your foundation to provide better health services for women and children and all Nigerians in general. We are on a drive towards achieving the President's priority of universal health coverage with one primary healthcare center in every political ward. We look forward to the support of the Future Assured program in this initiative. Finally, I wish to commend all the passionate team members of the Aisha Buhari Foundation. I wish you all a happy celebration. I thank you all for listening.
That was Professor Osage Ehanire, the Honorable Minister of Health. We have a team from the United Nations office in Nigeria, made up of so many different organizations. They're all here represented. We had expected a presentation from Dr. Edward Kalon, who is a UN resident and humanitarian coordinator for Nigeria. But he has directed one of the representatives, who is the UN representative for World Health Organization in Nigeria, to present his address, to present his goodwill message this afternoon. May I invite Dr. Lombo to the podium to deliver the address of the UN group. Thank you.
Your Excellency, the First Lady, wife of Mr. President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the wife of the Vice President, honorable ministers and their wives, state governors here present and their wives, my UN colleagues, other development partners, family and associates of the First Lady, Future Assured team, gentlemen of the press, distinguished ladies and invitees. It's a pleasure and an honor for me to speak to you today on behalf of Mr. Edward Callon, the UN Resident and Humanitarian Coordinator, who is unavoidably absent. It's really my pleasure to be part of this important event. Let me start by congratulating Her Excellency, the wife of the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, founder of Aisha Buhari Foundation, Dr. Mrs. Aisha Muhammadu Buhari, for this milestone of 6 years anniversary of the foundation, with the team securing the future of women and children for national development. As we are all aware, health is not a privilege. It's a human right. And the achievement of the highest standards of health is a right for all women, children, and adolescents. And here I remember in 2015, all member states, including Nigeria, came together to develop and endorse the global strategy for women, children, and adolescents' health, 2016-2030. When the UN Secretary General launched this strategy, he said a 10-year-old at that time will be 24 years by the time we conclude this strategy. And the strategy, as we know, is around key commitment: survive to end preventable death, thrive, leveraging on every opportunities, including education, health, and nutrition, and transform by leveraging the power of partnership. And I'm glad to see that already the foundation has taken those commitments at heart. Congratulations again for this 6-year celebration. Implementing the global strategy is a responsibility for the whole of government, the whole of society approach. But while the responsibility to ensure this is on the government, we understand government cannot alone achieve it. As we work together toward the reduction of the unacceptably high mortality rate in these vulnerable groups, the UN, as a global lead in development, has a core mandate to strengthen coordination, provide guidance, frameworks, and tools to help government to provide enabling policy environment, quality, and affordable services to all its citizens, irrespective of where they live and work. And let me take this opportunity to insist on the centrality of certain facts. The centrality of reproductive, maternal, newborn, child, and adolescent health. The centrality of education and empowerment in the Agenda 2030, alongside the evolving global health architecture, will provide the opportunity to reaffirm the crucial role of the UN agencies in supporting Nigeria to improve the health and well-being of women, children, and adolescents, and address universal health coverage with quality health services. As we know, we have had the COVID-19 pandemic since more than a year now. It has been a global challenge, but it's also been an opportunity because it revealed fractures in the system and the call for a greater partnership and solidarity. The success we are celebrating today with the 6 years anniversary is also a reminder of what the foundation has brought to the table to mitigate the impact of COVID-19 pandemic. On our part, we will continue to provide our support to Nigeria in their efforts to implement the global strategy for women, children, and adolescent health 2016-2030. And by doing so, enable Nigeria to reach the target of the health-related Sustainable Development Goal. As we collaborate effectively towards strengthening the multi-stakeholder partnership for women, children, and youth to achieve greater impact in Nigeria, we need to involve organizations from different societal sectors. And I'm happy to commit the UN system to partner with your foundation to achieve your goals. Also, we need targeted evidence-based advocacy engagement with the government and other sectors to implement the strategy in order to ensure better accountability and management for results as we move toward reaching our end game. Active community participation in advocacy and awareness will ensure better access, better awareness of right to health, and enable monitoring human rights through health interventions. As we commemorate the 6th anniversary of the Foundation today, let me reiterate that the UN is committed to promoting health, keeping the world safe and self-renewable, particularly those in those brackets, women, children, and adolescents. We'd like to assure you that we'll work with your foundation and the other sector of the government and society so that no one is left behind. Although the world has been faced with many challenges, our vision of a world in which all people attain the highest possible standard of health and well-being has not changed. We recommit to walking this talk with the government of Nigeria, with your foundation, with the other sectors of the society, particularly in the area where every component has its comparative advantage. I wish you success for the future of the foundation. I wish you all successful meeting today. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much. Dr. Walter Mulombo is the country representative of the World Health Organization in Nigeria. Now we've had the goodwill messages. We now need to know what is the story of Future Assured. What has been the experience of Future Assured in the last 6 years? To tell us this and give us a clear picture of what Future Assured achieved in the last 6 years, may I invite one of the principal officers of the Future Assured program, Dr. Fatima Jibrilla, to come and present that story. Dr. Fatima, please.
Your Excellency, the First Lady of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Dr. Mrs. Aisha Muhammadu Buhari, please permit me to stand on the existing protocol. Good afternoon, all. I'm going to present the document titled Future Assured Program Project Report. I'm going through the following outlines. I have introduction, rationale and objectives of the presentation, the organization, background, our projects, and then general achievements. Introduction. This is a summary of our projects report in the Future Assured program of the Aisha Buhari Foundation. Rationale and objective of the presentation. This is to provide clarity on what we set out to do, what we did, what we achieved, and how we contributed to the national development by explaining the scope of the activities we carried out and defining the extent of our reach. The Aisha Buhari Foundation is a non-governmental, non-for-profit organization aimed to improve the health and well-being of women, youth, and children through interventions in health, education, and then women and youth empowerment. The background. 6 years ago when we started, the foundation on its own implemented a number of interventions to improve the well-being of women and children. But as time went by, we saw the need to expand our programs so as to increase our coverage. We applied for grants through a grant-seeking process, and we were able to secure funds from both indigenous and international organizations. With these grants, we implemented different projects, which I will wish to discuss all, but because of time constraint, I will only present the 5 major projects. So our 5 major funded projects. The first project is titled Partnership for Advocacy. It is a 4-year advocacy project funded by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation to improve the reproductive, maternal, newborn, child, and adolescent health plus nutrition situation in the country in collaboration with the wives of governors. What did we do? In the project, we targeted the governors' wives and equipped them for strategic advocacy for RMNCAH plus N. How? Okay. So we developed and provided them with state-specific fact sheets, advocacy work plans, and workbooks, and we trained them on how to conduct advocacy. Also, we established the Governor's Wives Advocacy Coalition on RMNCAH plus N, a platform through which we provided technical support that guided their advocacy efforts. The project was implemented nationwide. What have we achieved? Prior to the intervention, not all governors' wives understand and appreciate the poor situation of RMNCAH plus N in the country, and they had no common RMNCAH plus N coordinated platform. Now, with the establishment of the Governor's Wives Advocacy Coalition, governors' wives were organized and trained to build their capacity on advocacy. In addition to the fact sheets, work plan, and the technical support, now they conduct RMNCAH plus N advocacy actively in their respective states. Okay, what are the lessons learned in this project? We learned that it is easy to assume that the wives of elected government officials have requisite knowledge because of status and position. However, not all governors' wives are familiar with the processes involved in implementing development projects. This is therefore necessary to carry out a sensitization and assessment to ascertain their interest, capacity, and knowledge. This is critical to their response, attention, and acceptance. We have realized that it is more productive to engage the governor's wives through a designated person from amongst them rather than separately as individuals. We advise that all initial engagements, including trainings, should be done preferably within the first 6 months of their assumptions in office. The feedback from some of the governor's wives suggested that they would have done better if they were engaged early. It is sad that the variations in their availability and their ever-changing schedules makes it difficult to meet project timings and deadlines. In future projects, it is important to secure their interest and commitment by defining the roles they are to play so as to mitigate the excess loss of time. So how did this project contribute to the national development? This project is a step towards getting all hands on deck to achieve both national and global development objectives. It has contributed to the following sustainable development goals. Goal 3, which is aimed at reducing preventable deaths of women and children. Goal 4, which emphasizes access to quality childhood development and care. And then Goal 17, that encourages partnerships and resource mobilization for interventions in health and development. We are going to Project 2. It is titled Advocacy for the Prevention and Treatment of Severe Acute Malnutrition. This is a 3-year project funded by the Children Investment Fund Foundation to advocate for prioritization of nutrition interventions and to improve funding for nutrition. This project was implemented at the federal and in 5 focal states, that is Bauchi, Gombe, Jigawa, Kano, and Katsina, in collaboration with 3 other organizations. What did we do? We conducted a high-level advocacy to policy and decision makers to increase political will, commitment, and funding for the prevention and treatment of malnutrition at federal and state levels. The achievement of this project. Nutrition interventions were prioritized at both federal and state levels. This was demonstrated by increased budgetary allocations for nutrition and fund releases in varying degrees at federal and focal states. There is increased availability of the remedies for the treatment of severe acute malnutrition, which are now easily accessible by the members of the community. The wife of the president mobilized private sector actors, convened a series of meetings, and advocated for them to start the local production of ready-to-use therapeutic food. And this is a remedy of choice for the treatment of severe acute malnutrition. The lessons learned. Working with the states presents a challenge of knowing the key influences. So, understanding the political economy of each state before commencing advocacy is critical to making progress. This is because states operate differently. Therefore, using a common strategy for all states may not be effective. Sometimes we had to work with the non-state actors to achieve our objective as against the conventional structures. Note that in advocacy, policy and decision makers may be more willing to increase commitment to funding when presented with other options apart from the traditional funding sources. This gives them a sense of choice and ownership. We have noticed that a holistic approach to advocating on malnutrition is more, in fact, impactful than isolating an aspect. When we were advocating to address severe acute malnutrition, we realized that moderate acute malnutrition may degenerate to severe acute malnutrition if unattended. Hence, our focus on prevention and treatment of all forms of malnutrition. This approach yielded more impact. Also, we now know that joint consultation, in addition to one-on-one engagement, is more beneficial when advocating for a cause that requires the action of multiple stakeholders in government. Implications of this project to national development. The project contributed to the Sustainable Development Goals 2, which speaks to addressing malnutrition among all vulnerable groups. Goal 4, which emphasizes on access to quality childhood development and care. And then goal 17, that encourages partnership and resource mobilization for interventions in health and development. Project number 3, the deworming project. This is a one-off project funded by the Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring Board to improve child survival as part of the efforts to rebuild the Northeast. We targeted and dewormed primary and junior secondary school children in Adamawa, Borno, and Yobe states using praziquantel tablets. Also, we provided 1-month doses of folic acid and iron supplements to pregnant women. The treatment was implemented in collaboration with federal and state ministries of health. Achievements of the deworming program. 130 health workers, staff from State Universal Basic Education Board, and 888 teachers of primary and junior secondary schools in Adamawa, Borno, and Yobe, who were never trained on school-based deworming, were trained. $243,776 students in primary and junior secondary schools were dewormed. Lessons learned. We emphasize that social mobilization and community sensitization are essential in health interventions. During this project, there was reluctance on the part of the teachers and parents to agree with the deworming program, especially in areas where sensitization was poor. Similarly, in other areas where religious and traditional leaders were involved, there was high acceptance rate by the public. This shows that dispelling myths and misconceptions about health interventions and involvement of key stakeholders are crucial to success. Implications of this project to national development. The project adhered to goals 2 and 4, which emphasizes on addressing malnutrition among children under 5 years of age, access to quality childhood development and care, and then promoting the health and well-being of all. Project number 4 is the Future Assured Youth Education Empowerment Program. This is a 7-month project funded by the Petroleum Equalization Fund to enhance enrollment of students into tertiary institutions. The project was implemented in Adamawa State. What did we do? We identified the youths who could not secure admissions into tertiary institutions because of their inability to meet the minimum entry requirements. We gave them another opportunity by providing remedial classes, and we sponsored them to write the exams. We provided e-learning tablets with uploaded e-books, e-laboratories, and past questions, and we trained the teachers who equally taught the students how to use the devices. Our achievements. 645 students, both male and female, rewrote the O-level exams with up to 580 students pass and over 200 secured admissions to study in higher institutions already. "45 teachers engaged in the project have been trained on digital literacy and can now deliver tutorials using modern teaching methods." The lessons learned. Modern method of teaching using technology attracts the interest of both the students and the teachers, thereby simplifying the learning process. Teachers trained in specialized skills for the YEP, that's the Youth Education Empowerment Program, are happy to teach other teachers and students in their primary teaching environment, which are mostly public schools. We understand that education should not be left in the hands of the government alone. As Nigerians, we all have the responsibility to contribute to taking the youth out of the street and back to school. Implication of this project to national development. The project speaks to Goal 4 that requires all girls and boys complete free, equitable, and quality primary and secondary education. The project contributed to a reduction in youth redundancy by engaging them in academics. This may also have contributed to prevention of crime and social crisis. The project makes a case for e-learning, its introduction and acceptance as a primary and supplementary method of teaching. This is in line with the aspiration of the Sustainable Development Goals of leaving no one behind. The fifth and the final project is the Nigerian Army Widows Empowerment Scheme. This is a 3-month project funded by the Nigerian Army to empower widows who lost their husbands in the course of service. This project was born out of the confidence built among stakeholders as Future Assured implemented numerous empowerment projects. In this project, we identified and trained 49 women on vocational skills of their choices, such as tailoring, catering, soap making, and agro-businesses. The achievements: 24 women graduated as fashion designers, 17 graduated as caterers, 5 women as soap makers, and then 3 women graduated as farmers. Some of them have set up their businesses and they are now employers of labor. Lessons learned in this project: we understand that trainees of skill empowerment projects are more likely to follow through with the training if they are given the opportunity to choose their preferred vocation. We also realize that it is not enough to provide skills and startup equipment. Training on financial literacy and mentorship is required for a stable business and sustainable economic growth. Implications of this project to national development. The project contributes to achievement of goals: 1, reducing poverty; goal 2, ending hunger; and then goal 10, women empowerment. Okay, these are our general achievements from both the funded and non-funded projects. Going by our assumptions, we want to believe that in the 6 years of Future Assured program, we have reached and improved the health of millions of people through the establishment of health facilities, revitalization of maternal, newborn, and child health weeks, and through our medical outreaches. We have promoted the health of millions of people through our Future Assured radio and TV health programs, jingles, behavioral change messages, and through community mobilization events. We have empowered hundreds of youths through our educational empowerment programs, such as the YIP tutorial class and the public speaking programs. We have transformed the livelihood of millions of people through our income-generating activities that included the vocational skill acquisition trainings, conditional cash transfer scheme, distribution of startups, either in cash or equipment, such as the tricycles, sewing machines, grinding machines, etc., etc. We have supported millions of people through our humanitarian services that included distribution of palliatives and payments of medical bills of the less privileged.
announce the arrival of the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency Professor Yemi Osinbajo. You're welcome, Your Excellency.
Okay. We have transformed the livelihood of millions of people through our income-generating activities, such as the vocational skill acquisition trainings, conditional cash transfer scheme, distribution of startups, either in cash or equipment, such as tricycles, machine, sewing machine, grinding machine, etc. We have supported millions of people through our humanitarian services that included distribution of palliatives and payment of medical bills of the less privileged. We have facilitated policy reforms which improved outcomes for millions of children. Ladies and gentlemen, at this point, I can say directly or indirectly, one way or the other, being Nigerians, we all benefited from Future Assured program. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much, Dr. Fatima. That was a brilliant presentation on the story of Future Assured in the last 6 years. I'm sure, like she said at the end of the presentation, we all, one way or another, have benefited from the Future Assured program. The next item on this agenda is the presentation of a keynote address by someone who, like his principal, is an inspiration to good leadership. A scholar, a teacher, an advocate, and Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Professor Yemi Osinbajo will present the keynote address at this event. He came in the nick of time, but his timing was perfect because we were about to take his paper when he came in.
Thank you very much. Your Excellency, the First Lady of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Mrs. Aisha Buhari, my dear wife, Her Excellency, Mrs. Dolapo Osinbajo, Her Excellency, the Governor of Kogi State, Alhaji Yahaya Bello, Your Excellencies, wives of state governors present, the wife of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, the Honorable Minister of Health, Dr. Sagi Hanire, the Honorable Minister of the Niger Delta, Chief Godswill Obota Pabio, wives of ambassadors, and Your Excellencies of the Diplomatic Corps, honored guests, ladies and gentlemen. Your Excellency, thank you very much for the kind invitation to be here to celebrate 6 years of Future Assured. How time flies. I remember the launch of Future Assured and, of course, the many programs, including Get Involved, where we had to get involved and all of us had to carry our placards and take photographs on our chests. Even Mr. President was forced to take his own photograph with a placard. But more importantly, the happy faces of women and children, flood victims in Kogi, in Kebbi, in Niger states, who received food and other relief materials from the Get Involved initiative. The educational initiatives, especially the Youth Education Empowerment Program, YEP, where a number of young people were given, and plans also in place to give them tutorials in WAEC, NECO, NAPTEP, and JAM. And of course, the support for girl-child education. Support to IDPs that return to their communities with relief materials, including foodstuff, clothing, beddings, building materials, building of schools and orphanages in Maiduguri especially, distribution of future assured packs here in Abuja hospitals, free health screening in Kogi, especially in conjunction with the Kogi Women and Youth Advancement Foundation. I can see that Governor Yahaya Bello is clapping more than everybody else today. In Nasarawa, for men and women, free health screening for men and women in Nasarawa State, in Oyo State, in Ogun State. In Lagos, it was the commissioning of mobile clinics for medical outreaches, and then women empowerment and training also. And the distribution of maternity kits also in Lagos. Collaboration with the celebrities, and I remember that particular occasion when Abuja was flooded with celebrities who worked with industry captains to support malnourished children, and of course, with the wives of diplomats, and the Clean Water Initiative also aimed to provide clean water for communities with no access to water, and also to achieve the SDG goals as set by the UN, etc., etc., etc. It has certainly been an exciting 6 years. Your Excellency, I'm sure that of all the children that the Aisha Buhari Foundation has given birth to, Future Assured must be the favorite child. And this is as it should be. The very future. This is as it should be. The very future of Nigeria and the very future of our communities depends on how well we address the many concerns of women and children in our communities, especially the three focal areas that Future Assured has identified: health, education, and empowerment, and economic empowerment. And we agree with Future Assured's belief that all social indices can be influenced if the health, education, and economic status of the population are improved upon. And that is the case, clearly. Women constitute half our population, and the youth are at least 60% of our population. And women, especially young girls, continue to face problems of every kind, and these problems mutate, and as the social pressures increase every passing day. For example, since the COVID-19 pandemic and the lockdowns, it's been shown by empirical studies that the rate of dropouts, especially of girls, has increased. Child marriages also increased. Adolescent childbearing, gender-based violence, all these indices increased. The sharp drop in income for most families here in Nigeria and in most economies of the world would mean that families would have to make choices that almost always will disfavor the girl child. And of course, female children have suffered disproportionately from the displacement caused by the insurgency and conflict in the Northeast and, of course, in parts of the Northwest. Unemployment, of course, which has also taken a dive, especially since COVID-19, largely affects young people who make up the majority of the workforce. So for the federal government, the president has prioritized the solutions to these issues. And since 2015, we've ensured that government social and entrepreneurial programs have an affirmative component for women. So of the 2.4 million beneficiaries of our government enterprises and empowerment program, 1.2 million were women. That is 56.4% of beneficiaries were women. So a total of 38 billion in loans have been disbursed over the past 4 years. And of the 1.1 million beneficiaries of conditional cash transfers, 98% are women. Our youth employment program also, NPOWER, of the 526,000 employed, 40.4% are female. and of course, over 1,674,000 cooks in the homegrown school feeding program. 97% are females. We implemented a payroll support program which was designed to mitigate income losses in the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic. And of the 307,173 employees that have benefited, 130,880, that's 43%, are female-owned businesses. So we've continued to emphasize female-owned businesses. We've continued to emphasize affirmative actions for females. For instance, in our artisan scheme also, beneficiaries of the support program after COVID-19, 94,318 artisans, 40,000 of them, 40,386 are females. That's 41% of beneficiaries. And so it is also with our MSME schemes as well. With respect to MSMEs, over 35% of all the MSME grants are females. And all of these are deliberate affirmative actions to ensure that females benefit proportionately, and where they are not able to benefit proportionately, at least fairly, in the distribution of these programs. And of course, there have been all sorts of other activities directed specifically by the president to ensure that that women are given a fairer chance and a fairer opportunity. Child Rights Act, of course, we're all familiar with all that has been done with respect to the Child Rights Act and also the Violence Against Persons Act. All of these legislation are designed to address concerns that especially affect the girl child or women. We've also committed in word and deed to education to ensure that no child is denied access to free basic education. And I'm sure that many of us will recall the president's statement on the 12th of June 2019 when he said that it was criminal for any government to refuse to ensure that all children of school age attend school compulsorily. And he said that, of course, referring to the act, referring to the laws on the matter, he said that he would ensure that those laws are enforced. And this has happened at the National Economic Council level, where with meetings with governors, we have put forward a dashboard to ensure that the president's directives are complied with respect to education of all children, and especially, of course, education of girls. So we believe that compulsory education, especially of girls, is game-changing in many respects. As has been shown that when female children are educated, it will positively impact the age of marriage. Even maternal and infant mortality will be affected. In 2020, the Federal Executive Council approved a World Bank credit facility in the sum of $500 million to finance the Adolescent Girls Initiative for Learning and Empowerment. Now, this initiative was particularly important because it was meant to improve secondary education opportunities among girls in certain targeted states. And these states, which are the participating states, include Borno, Ekiti, Kaduna, Kano, Katsina, Kebbi, and Plateau states. And the project was aimed at creating safe and accessible learning processes, advancing an enabling environment for girls, and strengthening the institutional capacity of the federal government and state governments to support girl-child education. The project targets girls between the ages of 10 to 19 years with a strong focus on disadvantaged adolescent girls from poor local government areas with low secondary school transition rates and girls from some of the poorest households. This intervention is projected to benefit 6.2 million girls and boys also. On the issue of safety of children, especially in schools, in the wake of criminal abductions that we've seen lately, the president has constituted a committee to look specifically at safe schools, and especially to try and implement the Safe Schools Initiative. We have worked at the committee level now for the past couple of months, and already steps have been taken with the security agencies to ensure that this is done in all of the schools with the support of our state governments. Since 2016, the Rule of Law Advisory Team in the presidency has taken a wide range of steps towards achieving a strong justice response in support of women and girls. We formed strategic partnerships with stakeholders, local and international, including the European Union, the Rule of Law and Anti-Corruption Program of the EU, the Open Society Initiative for West Africa, the Cannes Foundation, the Ford Foundation, and all of them have made commitments and have proven very valuable in supporting our efforts to succeed. So to ensure our efforts coordination, we've also set up several responses to cases of gender-based violence. The Rule of Law team supported the establishment of sexual and gender-based violence response teams across the country. So practically in every state of the country, the Rule of Law team has tried to establish at least one gender-based violence response team. In November 2019, in an effort to enhance access to justice, we secured a toll-free number and a short code for the FCT in particular, for the SGBV response team, with the general support of Airtel, the telco. We've also developed guidelines for gender-based violence response in Nigeria and a national guide for the establishment of sexual assault referral centers in Nigeria to enhance further coordination. Also in the same 2019, the President directed the National Human Rights Commission to set up a special panel to investigate cases of unlawful arrests, assault, and sexual and gender-based violence in the Federal Capital Territory involving complaints of raids of nightclubs and arrests of women by the police. The panel commenced sitting in the FCT, and hearings have continued. They were truncated due to the pandemic in 2020, but we're told that they resumed sitting in April 2021 and are now to submit their report. First, we've also had first responders like the police and response teams. Now, these are central to all the efforts we're making to address gender-based violence. As a result, we are currently supporting the implementation of projects aimed at strengthening the capacity of the Nigeria Police Force and also the Federal Capital Territory response team. And they receive records and reports regularly, especially those concerning violence against women and girls. For young people, and I think that this is an important part of the work that has been done, especially by the federal government. The President has directed that our focus must be on creating opportunities for good paying jobs. And he said, that one of the concerns that he has is that the jobs that young people have should be jobs that can sustain a family. And I think that's an important guide for the sorts of things that we then try to do. Consequently, we've worked on all available local and international opportunities for creating these sorts of jobs that the President had in mind. For example, the AFDB, there's an AFDB-led $500 million IDICE program. And this is a program that the AFDB is coordinating to support the technology and creativity sector. So for young people in technology and creativity, the funds will be available to finance the ideas of young innovators, and provide infrastructure such as shared facilities and skills training. And now this is quite important because the shared facilities are facilities that enable groups of innovators to come together to use facilities that individuals may not be able to afford. So if it's equipment, we buy the equipment. The equipment will be, of course, equipment that one person may not be able to afford. But then all of those who are involved in that particular sector will be able to use it. And we've been able to demonstrate that shared facilities work. We've done shared facilities already. We have one in Nnewi. We have one in Oyo State. We have one also, I believe, in Adamawa State. These are facilities that enable young people who are innovators or who are working in a particular sector to share facilities that may otherwise be too expensive. Then there's a Jubilee Fellows Program. This is a joint initiative with the UNDP. This program will provide paid internships for 20,000 young Nigerian graduates for 12 months for the next 5 years. This program will ensure that these 20,000 graduates annually will be attached to private companies or public companies where they can learn and gain some hands-on experience. And the payment for the program will be made by the UNDP. And I must say that's a very handsome pay for the 12-month period. And after the 12-month period, of course, these young people can then go out and do other things for themselves, either entrepreneurship or remain with the companies where they worked. This is 20,000 young people every year for the next 5 years. So we expect that in 100,000 young people will be trained and paid during the period of the training for the next 5 years. Then of course, we have our Empower program, the federal government's Empower program. And this is part of Africa's biggest ever social investment program, where we've deployed 500,000 young Nigerians. And they are paid as volunteers in education, in health, and agriculture. And this has worked. We started this in 2016. It's continued up until now. And in 2019, the president has now approved the increase of the number of Empower beneficiaries from 500,000 to 1 million. So we expect to have 1 million young people. Then we have the Nigerian Youth Investment Fund, a 75 billion youth investment fund. This fund was passed unanimously by the Federal Executive Council to support the activities of young people. 25 billion naira annually invested in youth businesses for the next 3 years. So more than 5,000 today, more than 5,000 young Nigerians have benefited from this loan with a disbursement of over 1.5 billion naira. The CBN's Creative Sector Fund is also another fund. This is what the CBN is providing, and this started also in 2019. It's introduced also to support the creative industry, and it's a financial initiative so that the creative industry can access long-term funds for entrepreneurship in this respect, and also information technology, those who are involved in information technology. So in addition to improving access to low-cost and sustainable financing for job creation, the other objectives include the harnessing of the entrepreneurial potentials of young people within those industries. And what we've tried to do also with these young people is that we have ensured that they are part of policy formulation. So those in the technology sector, those in the creative sector, they are part of the policy group. We have a creative and technology sector policy group where they also contribute to making the policies, which is why before now, a lot of the fintech companies, those doing financial types of businesses, were running into trouble because they did not have banking licenses. But they were part of the formulation of the policy eventually, which enabled the central bank to grant special licenses to them so that they're able to do certain types of financial services without being banks. So you find today that there are many small companies that are giving loans, especially loans using algorithms that just determine whether a person is creditworthy or is not creditworthy and all that. And they can just give these loans seamlessly. So all of these efforts are efforts that the federal government is making, especially for youth, for youth empowerment. What you tend to find, and what we find each time, is that young people will say, well, we hear about all these things, but we don't have access to them. It's very difficult to access these loans, very difficult to access those facilities, which is why, we're at the moment working in consultation with several youth groups to see how we can ensure that these facilities are made easier to access. So, for example, accessing credit in many cases involves putting forward some kind of collateral. Well, many young people don't have collateral. So we're looking at how to de-risk credit And we're working with the Central Bank, the Bank of Industry, and the several other funding organizations, including the AFDB, to see how we can reduce the possibilities of collateral and, in many cases, be able to give uncollateralized loans to young people. It's a huge effort. But it's a huge effort. But I must say that the commitment of the federal government is not in doubt at all. And at several different fora, the president has continued to emphasize that the future of this country depends on how well its young people succeed. And of course, the future of our country depends on how well we're able to take into account the problems of the 50% of our population, of the female population of our country. So again, I'd like to commend the Future Assured and Her Excellency, the First Lady, for this incredible effort. And to say that in the years to come, we hope and pray that Future Assured will do even greater and greater things. I think that just as you assure the future for women, we men also are looking for some assurance that our future will be good. God bless you. Thank you very much.
That is His Excellency, the Vice President, Federal Republic of Nigeria. It's an audience delight any day, any time. Thank you very much, Your Excellency. I think we need to follow up His Excellency's address with another important address. At this juncture, I would like to call on the convener of this event, the mother of the Nigerian nation, the founder, the chaperone, the benefactor of Future Assured program, Her Excellency, the First Lady of Nigeria, Dr. Aisha Muhammadu Buhari, to deliver her address at this event. Thank you.
Your Excellency, the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and his dear wife, the wife of the SGF, the governors here present, former governors, the First Ladies of states here present, and the former First Ladies, the Honorable Minister of Health, the wives of the service chiefs, the ambassadors, the members of the diplomatic corps and their spouses, development partners, my Future Assured team, my associates, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I welcome you all to this important event. I welcome you all to this important event, which serves as a milestone in the life of Future Assured as an organization. I'm particularly grateful that you are all here with me in celebrating this day despite your busy schedules. Your presence here today shows significantly the bond that connected us in thoughts and action. The purpose of this event is to celebrate the 60th anniversary of Future Assured. The celebration will not be completed. The celebration will not be complete without taking stock of our achievements and challenges. Future Assured has made a lot of progress worth sharing with you today. While we share to inspire others, we equally anticipate feedback for more sustainable actions in future. The journey began 6 years ago when, at inception, Future Assured became committed to advocacy and support in 3 thematic areas: health and nutrition, girl-child education, women and youth empowerment. The achievement records in these areas are attributed to reliable partnership support and numerous organizations and individuals. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I feel proud to state categorically that the Future Assured has started with only advocacy, has succeeded in carrying out activities and projects that have direct impact on the health system, education, and empowerment. The review of Future Assured activities is to provide more insight to the major achievements made over the years. My appeal, therefore, to partners and other stakeholders not to relent on efforts and support. Your commitment and support to Future Assured remains important in deepening our collective commitment and investment to the development of this country. I therefore urge both present and future political leaders to pay particular attention to the reoccurring developmental deficits so that one day these too will become a history. I remain optimistic that this is possible. Let me at this point thank all those that have partnered with us on this journey so far. In particular, I appreciate all our development partners, all our supporters. Let me at this point thank all those that have partnered with us on this journey so far. In particular, I appreciate all government agencies, development partners, local and international NGOs, members of the private sector, the diplomatic corps, and individuals who have given their time and other resources across the country to help us make a difference. I want to specifically thank the Vice President and his dear wife, Mrs. Dolapo Oshibanjo, for their untiring support to Aisha Buhari Foundation and Future Assured. Similarly, I thank the immediate past and present governors and their wives for their individual contributions and support rendered to Future Assured in their various states. I appreciate my Future Assured team who have worked so hard in reaching remote areas for this country just to deliver our goodwill. I thank you so much for being here this afternoon with me. Thank you so much and God bless. I would like to recognize the presence of the wives of the service chiefs. Thank you so much.
That was Her Excellency, the First Lady of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Dr. Aisha Muhammadu Buhari. You have heard the story, and you have heard her remarks. And I think it is time for us to begin to round up this program. I would like to use this opportunity to invite someone who is part of the Future Assured program from day one. She's a lawyer. She's the board secretary and the legal advisor of the Aisha Buhari Foundation. You might have seen her in one or two places, commissioning projects or representing Her Excellency. I would like to invite Barrister Halima Buhari Sharif to come and deliver a message and a vote of thanks at this event. Thank you.
Your Excellency, Vice President, Federal Republic of Nigeria, Your Excellency, First Lady, Dr. Aisha Muhammadu Buhari, Your Excellency, wife of the Vice President, Mrs. Dolapo Oshibanjo, Governor of Kogi State, wife of the SGF, honorable ministers present, First Ladies present, permit me to stand on existing protocol. On behalf of my mother, the First Lady of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, founder of Aisha Buhari Foundation and Future Assured Program, and the entire Future Assured team, I wish to sincerely thank you all for being here to witness the commemoration of the 6th year anniversary of Future Assured Program, a well-deserved occasion for the founder, the entire Future Assured team, and the young Future Assured initiative that has evolved and thrived in a very short space of time to become one of the leading players and partner within the Nigeria health and development space. In the last 6 years of the Future Assured historic journey, so many people and organizations, too many to mention their names, have contributed in one way or the other to the growth, development, and success of the Future Assured program. I wish to take this opportunity to thank our dear Vice President, Professor Shibanjo, and his dear wife for their untiring support to Aisha Buhari Foundation. My sincere thanks and appreciation also goes to all our partners, including government ministries and departments, non-governmental development partners, corporate private sector groups, philanthropists, and all the well-meaning Nigerians who lend in their support. To all the governors' wives, past and present, we thank you for being the pillars and anchors of our program in your various states and for your invaluable support. Finally, to all the beneficiaries of our programs, we say a big thank you to you for bringing out the best of the humanitarian spirit in us. I wish you all a very safe journey back to your various destinations. God bless you all, and God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you.
Barrister Halima Buhari Sharif, Mr. Chief of the Old Bloc. This is the rounding up stage of this project, because this meeting has become a project on its own. But before we depart, there's need for us to take some memories. We need to take some pictures that will remind us tomorrow that this event has taken place. I would like to invite Her Excellency with a few of the members of the high table. Take some pictures. We'll take a few rounds of the pictures before we close. Thank you.
You've been watching the live broadcast of the 6 years anniversary of Future Assured, coming to you from the banquet hall of the State House in Abuja. The Future Assured is an initiative of the Aisha Buhari Foundation, a non-governmental organization set up with the aim of advocating for the well-being of women, children, and adolescents in Nigeria. And in the last 6 years, the foundation says Future Assured has impacted on several lives. Women and children have been empowered in different ways, including providing quality health care for them. Key among the objectives of the Future Assured Foundation, or Future Assured, is to see that issues of reproductive, maternal, newborn child, adolescent health and nutrition are taken care of. Right now, the program is coming to an end with photographs already taken. For 6 years, Future Assured has ensured that women and children are well catered for. These include women and children affected by insurgency in the northeast part of Nigeria. Let's now see the video from Future Assured to get more.
The first target of the Future Assured program was to address malnutrition in the country. This became imperative due to the high burden of malnutrition, especially among children under the age of 5. Most of these affected children are from rural communities with families who cannot afford basic meals. The Get Involved project was launched to generate funds for the improvement of the nutritional status of such children. Over 200 million naira worth of goods were raised. These goods were distributed to affected families across the country, especially those in IDP camps. Nutritional supplements were also distributed to pregnant and lactating mothers to improve their health status and their chances of birthing healthy children. For this and other related initiatives, the founder of Future Assured, Her Excellency Mrs. Aisha Buhari, was appointed as the National Nutrition Ambassador. Also, this increased her visibility in the nutrition space, which led to more partnerships and collaborations at both national and international levels to implement nutrition-specific and other health interventions. Such partnerships include the alliance with the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, BMGF, and the Children Investment Funds Foundation, CIFF. Future Assured worked with the federal government to commemorate the International World Breastfeeding Week and joined other organizations to advocate for the prioritization of nutrition, including the prevention and treatment of severe acute malnutrition. Future Assured made a huge impact on reproductive, maternal, neonatal, child, adolescent health and nutrition by engaging the governors' wives to use their influence to champion RMN-CAH+N advocacy in their respective states.
When someone commits to carrying out a task, the next thing you want to review is, do they know how to do this task? Do they have all the required support to do this task? That was why Her Excellency, the wife of the President, the founder, Aisha Buhari Foundation and Future Assured Initiative, decided to go down to the state level, to the zones, to develop the capacity and mobilize technical support for the wives of the governors to strategically carry out this advocacy.
This technical session has made us all sit down at a round table discussing issues of maternal health and coming up with solutions.
Future Assured supported the states to flag off MNCH weeks and distributed maternity kits to encourage antenatal care attendance. Many state governments have recorded an improvement in the rate of maternal and child mortality and morbidity. Future Assured has also engaged the civil society in this campaign and urged the private sector to support government efforts by investing in health and nutrition. Medical outreaches, including screenings and health education, were conducted across the Federation. The health talks were provided to sensitize beneficiaries on common health conditions and how to prevent them. Screening exercises were also carried out for life-threatening conditions like high blood pressure, high blood sugar, breast cancer, cervical cancer, and kidney function. Health screening for children included deworming exercises, dental checks, and eye tests. Children went home with dental packs after the screening. To improve the reach of medical support to remote areas, 2 fully equipped mobile clinics have been provided and put to use. Future Assured also initiated the idea of building maternity complexes at general hospitals to provide standard maternity facilities in general hospitals. In this regard, 2 fully equipped models of such maternity complexes were constructed and put to use in Yola and Daura.
This maternity home will serve everyone. It will help to transform lives. It will help to cure people. I, as a founder of the Tony Elumelu Foundation, was felt privileged and honored to commission this great maternity project in Yola on the 11th of June 2019.
On behalf of the board, management, and in fact the entire Adamawa State citizens, we will want to appreciate her. She has done so much. This will impact on women's health in general.
Education. Future Assured is at the forefront of the campaign for women and girl child education, both in school and outside school. Advocacy for the women is done regularly, but especially through International Women's Day, while that of the girl child is done through Day of the African Child and International Day of the Girl Child. Future Assured's Youth Education Empowerment Program, for YEEP, assists the large number of youth struggling to transit from secondary to tertiary institutions through tutorial classes for WAEC, NECO, NAPTEP, and JAM. YEEP also trains youth to develop writing, communication, and public speaking skills. The program recently graduated about 700 youths who were trained with e-learning equipment and supported to write certificate examinations for entry into higher institutions of learning.
The program has helped me a lot. I have gained more knowledge. The last time I wrote JAM, I was not able to get up to 200, it was 190 something. But with the help of the program, I was able to get 224.
We were taught how to write curriculum vitae, how to write resumes, how to attend interviews, how to attend a debate and its concept, and so many other things. But before I joined this program, I don't even know how to write a speech at all. I can't even speak in public.
I finished my secondary school in Genye, Nicola Barry College. So after that, I couldn't get admission. I got to know about the program through an announcement in our church, LCC and Cathedral Genye. I got to learn a lot of things, and including the e-tablet. It was very supportive in my studies. So I got to use the e-tablet for my studies, and that was what helped me to gain the score I got in JAM, 226. And for my WAEC results also, the tablet, it helped me because of that particular app that it comprises of different textbooks, and I got admission at Adamawa State College of Nursing and Midwifery.
Due to the problem of finance, I could not further. But with the help of Future Assured, they paid my JAM and to WAEC so far. And to God be the glory, I wrote both and I passed, and I also secure admission in Federal University Kashere presently.
Future Assured College has just been opened.